Well, it's time for my state of the channel address. I want to try to tell everybody what I'm going to be doing here in the future, like an update and what's going on. And again, if you're going to like the content, if you like the content and everything that you're seeing here, please hit the subscribe or follow button, like the video, and if you can, there will be a link to my Patreon account, and any support you can give will help me to keep going on, okay? Well, like I was telling you fellas, anyone who's followed the channel over time, last year was really bad. Beginning of this year had its ups and downs, and now we're in almost 2 months into the new year. Things changed again, and I will not be able to devote as much time as I did in the past to the channel or answering questions and all this other stuff. I did promise people some content, and basically what I'm going to do is try to get more content out in the confined time that I have. So what I did state that I was going to try to do was a series on star pistols. Now, in doing this, I was going through and looking at my collection, and I have amassed a collection of Spanish pistols in general, not so much star. I have some Astra and some other unusual ones, but this here, like this star 1920 pistol, okay? This is in 9mm Largo, and I'm going to do some, if you remember, I'm going to do some reloading videos to show you how to load this cartridge. Spanish pistols were kind of overlooked and kind of underrated. They were never really, they were very competitive price-wise with U.S. made guns all through these years, from the 50s, 60s and that. There were some issues with quality in that, but as I cover each and every type of gun and through the historic times, I'll explain that. But they were an undervalued gun, most of the Spanish pistols. There are some that are not very good, okay, I'll admit that, but like the stars, and now the value on these has taken off. They're not easy to find, and they're not inexpensive anymore, okay? Then there are things like the Jolo AR, this gun here, kind of unusual, unique, another Spanish-made gun, a little lever there, a little one-handed, getting the gun in the service without a trigger guard, another interesting piece. It doesn't quite fall under the Star or the Astra guns, which are more common, but I will start with the Star. I may even try to fill a couple holes in my collections with some representative types, but we'll go over that. That's what I plan on doing. I said that about 2-3 months ago, and I'm finally finding my material in that and going on. And in the recent months, I've covered striker-fired 9mm polymer frame handguns, which are extremely popular. And another thing, they're all 9mm, but the 380 is also another popular cartridge. And like this here is kind of a rare one. This is a Zastava Model 70 in 380. The most common one, and the ones the police use, were in 32 ACP. And a bunch of these came in and were imported, and all I got was the pistol and one mag. Finding magazines for these is impossible, and I don't know if it would fit in one of the 32 holsters. But this is an unusual gun, and I may do a series on 380 pistols in general. I have several types out there, and I may do some 380, work on the different 380 guns. And while I was going through my collection, There are some other firearms that are not as popular, okay, but they're very good firearms, and I've used them. And I was thinking of doing a series on, handguns that real men used, much like this Smith & Wesson Model 14, okay, and 38 Special. When it comes to, and all these ridiculous topics people make in videos, when I ever say if there was only one handgun that you could own, if you could only own one, a 4-inch barrel, adjustable sight, 6-shot, full-size, 38 Special revolver probably is the one. Now, granted, most people, as we see the most popular guns, keep adding more and more to, a subcompact gun with 12, 13 rounds, with 6 rounds. This gun, in the old days, you took stock gun and you got used to it, and you trained and you learned, you became proficient. These guns are accurate. They don't really need a lot of maintenance. They're not that complicated or difficult to figure out how to use. And if you take the time in training, the 38 Special cartridge, which I know a lot of people say, it's still lobbing a 158 grain lead bullet, okay? For most home defense, self-defense use, you can't beat this gun, okay? And speaking of guns that real men carry, I have my Smith & Wesson 586. I bought this handgun brand new 40 years ago. Okay? This is back in the days of Starsky and Hutch and everything. The Colt Python was the gun, but I preferred Smith & Wesson's. This 6-inch barrel I can shoot this just as well as any damn carbine, 16-inch barrel carbine out to 50 yards. Not a problem with this gun. The only problem with the .357 Magnum is back in the day people used to hand load it to the maximum amount, trying to get the maximum amount of velocity and impact, which you really don't do, because I've had another one of these that after years of them high pressure loads, you had play in the cylinder because they've actually stretched the frame out. You could go with a mid-sized load with this and a lead bullet, and this is the gun. This is back, you only needed 6 shots, because if you ever fired the thing, you fired it once and you hit what you shot at, okay? And a lot of people, oh, well, you need at least 15 rounds or whatever, the plastic gun. If you take the time to learn, practice, train these guns, okay, I mean, this here compared to one of them polymer frame guns, and if you wanted concealability in the 38, you go with a smaller J frame with a smaller grip, 2-inch barrel and 5 shots. And if you practice and are proficient, they're deadly little guns. I got that one at somewhere else at the moment. But might do some videos bringing back the 38 Special, the revolver, and kind of how this, for some people, you can still get revolvers nowadays. Taurus is the one that makes most 38 revolvers that are reasonable, okay? I know there's other brands out there and that you can get, but it's a simple one, and there's probably a ton of these. And even these older guns go for a lot of money now, okay? Even used, these guns have value to them. They're not cheap. So that's basically my thoughts and what I'm kicking around. Like I said, I'm sorry I don't have the time to dedicate to the channel that I used to. I have other things going on. It's going to take some of my time, but it's the only way that I can personally keep ahead of things. So that's going to cut into my time, but like I said, that's what I plan on covering and making videos and the content here in the near future. And hopefully keep going on, not get banned by YouTube or something. And all of these guns I believe are safe, being the fact they don't have high capacity magazines, and I don't believe they're on any of the banned lists that are going around with current legislature, which is another strange thing. But anyway, guys, that's what I kind of got planned at this point in time, unless something changes it all again. So thank you and stay tuned.